Imagine a world teeming with life, thriving in the most unexpected of places. Not deep in a rainforest or on a remote mountain peak, but on the surface of a floating bottle cap, a discarded fishing net, or a tiny fragment of a plastic bag. In the middle of our oceans, a new ecosystem has emerged, a world born from our own waste. This is the story of the Plastisphere, a discovery that is forcing us to rethink everything we thought we knew about plastic pollution and life in the sea. For decades, we saw ocean plastic as a physical threat. We saw the heartbreaking images of turtles entangled in six-pack rings and seabirds with stomachs full of debris. But in 2013, our understanding was turned upside down. A team of scientists, including Linda Amaral-Zettler and Tracy Mintzer, took a closer look at plastic fragments from the North Atlantic Ocean. Using powerful microscopes and DNA sequencing, they didn't just find a few random microbes clinging on. They found a complex, structured, and diverse community, a microbial reef that was completely distinct from the surrounding seawater. They gave it a name: the Plastisphere. Suddenly, plastic wasn't just inert trash. It was a new type of habitat, a floating island actively shaping life in the ocean. So how does this microbial world get built? It's a rapid and fascinating process. As soon as a piece of plastic hits the water, a race begins. The first to arrive are the pioneers, often bacteria from groups like gamma proteobacteria. They are drawn to the plastic's water-repelling surface. These pioneers are the construction crew. They secrete a slimy, glue-like substance, creating what's called a biofilm. This isn't just slime. It's a sophisticated matrix that acts like a protective dome and a nutrient magnet, pulling in food from the water. Once this foundation is laid, the city starts to grow. A whole host of other life forms move in. Diatoms, a type of algae, show up and start photosynthesizing, becoming the primary food producers. Fungi, protozoans, and other microbes join the community, creating a complex food web with predators, prey, and decomposers. It's astonishing, but a single piece of plastic, smaller than a pinhead, can host over 1,000 different types of microbial cells. And it's not just microbes. These plastic rafts are durable and buoyant enough to carry larger coastal species, like anemones and bryozoans, far out into the open ocean. Scientists call these neopelagic communities brand new ecosystems where coastal life is not just surviving but thriving and reproducing, hundreds or thousands of miles from its natural home, all thanks to our plastic. The emergence of this new world has consequences that ripple through the entire ocean. One of the biggest concerns is that the Plastisphere acts as a high-speed transport system for unwanted passengers. Plastic's incredible durability means it can travel across entire oceans, carrying its hitchhikers to new territories. This can introduce invasive species that devastate local ecosystems. We saw a dramatic example of this after the 2011 Japanese tsunami, when hundreds of Japanese coastal species were found to have rafted all the way across the Pacific on tsunami debris. It's also a vessel for pathogens. The genus Vibrio, which includes the bacteria that cause cholera, has been found in high concentrations on marine plastic. Even the so-called flesh-eating bacteria, Vibrio vulnificus, readily colonizes these surfaces. More alarmingly, land-based parasites like Toxoplasma gondii, which can infect animals like sea otters, have been found clinging to microplastics, giving them a new pathway into the marine food web. The close quarters within the biofilm also create a perfect environment for bacteria to trade genes. This process, called horizontal gene transfer, can accelerate the spread of antibiotic resistance, turning the Plastisphere into a potential breeding ground for superbugs. Beyond carrying stowaways, these microbial communities are actively changing the ocean's chemistry. They're involved in the cycling of critical elements like carbon and nitrogen. By creating a new surface for photosynthesis, they can influence local productivity. But there's a downside. Some research suggests that when plastic gets incorporated into marine snow, the organic material that sinks to the deep ocean, it could slow down the sinking of carbon, potentially weakening the ocean's ability to absorb CO2 from the atmosphere. Finally, there's the toxic pathway. For some tiny organisms, the biofilm on plastic might look like a tasty meal, but the plastic itself acts like a sponge for toxic chemicals in the ocean, like PCBs and DDTs. It concentrates these toxins at levels far higher than the surrounding water. When an animal eats this plastic, the toxins are released into its body. As that animal is eaten by a bigger one, the toxins bioaccumulate, moving up the food chain, eventually reaching the seafood on our own plates. So how do scientists peer into this hidden world? It takes a combination of high-tech tools. Scanning electron microscopes allow them to see the intricate 3D structure of these communities, revealing the different microbes and even the tiny pits and cracks they might be carving into the plastic itself. To figure out who is actually living there, they use high-throughput DNA sequencing. By analyzing specific marker genes, they can get a complete census of the bacteria, archaea, and eukaryotes in the community. It's like a genetic fingerprint for the entire ecosystem. But knowing who is there isn't the same as knowing what they're doing. That's where techniques like metagenomics come in. By sequencing all the DNA in a sample, scientists can get clues about the functional potential of the community, what kinds of enzymes they can produce, or what metabolic pathways they might have. The Plastisphere is a living, evolving experiment. The constant flood of new plastic into the ocean is creating a powerful selective pressure. Microbes that can not only live on plastic, but actually use it as a food source, have a huge advantage. This has led to one of the most exciting and hopeful discoveries in this field: plastic-degrading microbes. Scientists have now identified several species of bacteria and fungi living in the plastisphere that can break down some of the toughest plastics, like PET, the material used in water bottles. They produce special enzymes, like PETase, that can slice through the strong chemical bonds of plastic polymers. The natural process is very slow, but this discovery opens the door to harnessing these microbes for our own purposes. This brings us to solutions. The plastisphere is a stark warning, but it also points toward a path forward. The most critical step is to turn off the tap, to reduce the amount of plastic we produce and consume, especially single-use items. We need better waste management and recycling systems globally to stop plastic from ever reaching the ocean. Innovation in new materials, like truly biodegradable alternatives from seaweed or agricultural waste, is also key. And for the plastic that's already out there, technologies like large-scale ocean cleanup systems and smaller sea bins are being developed to remove it. But perhaps the most futuristic solution comes from the plastisphere itself. The research into those plastic-eating microbes could lead to new bioremediation strategies, where we use bacteria to break down plastic waste in landfills or recycling plants. Some scientists are even exploring how to upcycle plastic waste, using microbes to convert it into valuable bioplastics, turning a pollution problem into a resource. The plastisphere is a profound and unsettling discovery. It's a world we created by accident, a living testament to the global reach of our plastic footprint. It shows us that our waste doesn't just disappear. It becomes a new foundation for life, with complex and far-reaching consequences we're only just beginning to understand. It's a cautionary tale about our impact on the planet. But it's also a story of resilience, adaptation, and perhaps opportunity. By studying this new world, we not only confront the scale of the problem, but also uncover potential solutions hidden within it. The story of the plastisphere challenges us to innovate, to collaborate, and to finally chart a more sustainable course for the future of our oceans.